So I'm going to ask you a bit about the Western Tethyan project. What is involved in this project, and why was there a need for this research?
Remarkably, since let's say 2005 or so, there's been a number of very big discoveries in that part of the world.
Like
a lot of the countries.
For example,
for examples include Cukaru Peki in eastern Serbia, the Bigar Hill discovery also in eastern Serbia, the Had Maden discovery in eastern Turkey, the Chirashata discovery in western Romania. So there's been a handful just in the last 7 or 10 years. Actually, also all these Biga Peninsula discoveries in western Turkey have also been in the last 10 or so years. So that's a pretty good discovery track record for a region, where there's been historic mining, for thousands of years, right? But I think a fresh set of eyes with competitive exploration companies working that yields a different result. Now, so there's been great geological mapping work done over the last 50 years in all of these places. But what you end up getting is a lot of mismatch in the geology from country to country. So you get map faults, border faults, things like that. So those are all things that need to be resolved. And bigger pictures that, for similar areas of surface area in places like British Columbia, which is a huge place, are all overseen by one organization, like a geological survey of a province or like British Columbia. Whereas you get different geological surveys working in different countries that are relatively small. And so you have different interpretations, different map units, things like that. So a lot of the, I think, problems with recognizing favorable areas or rock units or ages of rock units are not resolved from country to country. And so that's why there's a need to have a kind of a look from maybe a holistic, bigger picture perspective. And that's one of the things that MDRU has been trying to do for the last several years in that region.
Okay. And so you're looking at across these countries, mineral belts, magmatic events that are related to porphyries.
Yep. So we're looking at we're looking at all of the rocks, but mostly concentrating on the magmatic belts that range in age from mostly Upper Cretaceous to modern.
Yeah.
So although we do pay attention to the basement geology, and those are all part of our kind of data compilations, what we're working mostly on is dating and characterizing the magmatic rocks that are, of course, associated with the clan of deposits that are porphyry related or porphyries. So this includes all sorts of magmatic hydrothermal style deposits, which include porphyries, skarn, CRDs or carbonate replacement deposits, epithermal systems that would be low sulfidation, intermediate sulfidation, high sulfidation. And then also we're looking at host rocks for VMS camps, in particular in northeastern Turkey. So it's mostly related to copper and gold, but of course, there are zinc-related deposits and silver and other such systems that are make up part of this belt. And again, the ages range from late Cretaceous to Miocene, pretty much, right? So we're looking at rocks from about 92 million years old down to as young as 8 or 6 million years old, or even 4. Yeah.
So are you able to say something about some of your the main conclusions that have come out of the work?
Yeah, what we've been able to do is put together some relatively seamless GIS geology products. So you could now make them. We have maps now that basically run seamlessly from Romania to Georgia. So that's progress. We've dated a lot of the rocks and a lot of the deposits, and constrained some of the sort of time, space, stratigraphic positions of those rocks. Stay tuned, for 2021 and beyond, when we'll have some publications out regarding some better detail about those results.
Mm-hmm. And so what do you think is sort of like the most exciting element of exploring in the Western Tethyan right now? Is it mainly because it's an underexplored region?
Yeah, I think it's highly unexplored, you know, and it's, you know, so it hasn't even gotten to the stage of discoveries being made based on deposits that aren't sticking out of the ground. So,
Right.
you know, there are still many alteration footprints that haven't been tested properly or properly evaluated. You know, these discoveries like Cont'd are sticking out of the ground. Same goes for Bigar Hill and Chirashata as well. And Chukwudupeki is a buried discovery, but in a relatively mature district, I guess. But what an incredible discovery made several years ago in a place with major mining infrastructure and deep open pits and 100+ years worth of mining infrastructure and exploration. But yet it yielded an outstanding tier 1 discovery. So I think there's a lot more to be made.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing is that it's cheap to work there because you don't need a helicopter. You can drive around and stay in small towns and things like that. So you don't need you don't need a helicopter like you would in, you know, northern BC or Alaska. Yeah, I think a lot of the data sets, you know, there are good country data sets that you can get or digitize, that kind of thing, and then that kind of stuff paired with some of the products that MDRU has put together, you can really get to work, I think, and identify the areas of interest and seek out the rocks that you think are going to yield the best prospective geology and ultimately drill targets.
That's really
so. Yeah, and so I think what's exciting to me is that it's an area that is still immature.
Mm-hmm.
It hasn't gone to the point of having to go to outright covered targets, despite the prospectivity of the rocks.
So I was going to ask you if there's any particular field, day, or memory you have that you would like to share.
The Balkans is probably my favorite place that I've ever been to, either as a tourist or as working as a geologist. And it's just, you know, I really like working there for a lot of reasons, including the people are very easy to get along with, really fun, enthusiastic, and keen geologists. And the place is delightful. Nobody judges you. You could stay out late and be in medium shape the next day, and no one's ever going to judge you. There's always a village nearby where you can get a soothing soup at lunch if you need it, or if you need a cold beer at the end of the day, that's always available. And you know, so it's a bit different than working in Canada with dry camps and you know, the long flights and not to mention the black flies. I'll add that. So they don't have those in the Balkans. So what I joke usually with my colleagues in Bulgaria and Serbia that, you know, don't ever tell the Canadians about this place, because they'll show up here, they'll never leave.
Right on. Okay, just before we go, I did find when I was looking for pictures, I did find another really lovely picture of Al from, I think this was from our trip to Chile.
Could have been, yeah.
U of T geology. Look how happy you were with your field notebook.
Yeah, that was a great trip to Chile that we had there.
Yeah. So I just want to thank you for sitting down and having this little chat with me on Rock Talk Rocks.
Anytime. Thanks, Dianne.
And here's to many more years of being friends and colleagues, and being mentored and scolded by the likes of Dick Tosdell and Craig Hart.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, I guess we'll owe them a dinner at the next Roundup conference, I think.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Very good.